Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Diane.
Mr. Douglas?
Here.
Mr. Barber?
Here.
Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Irwin?
Here.
Mr. McDonald?
Here.
Mr. Favreau is excused tonight, our attorney. Mr. Tatro, our water and sewer superintendent. Mr. Farrow, our highway superintendent. Boys did a great job last night, by the way. Mr. Gwinnett, our zoning officer. Chaka, because I can't pronounce his last name, our dog control officer. Our confidential secretary to the board, Ms. Pamela Barber, and our guests. Thank you for coming.
And Diane Miller, tax collector.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay. First one, I need a motion, a second, to accept all report departments from water, sewer, Belcor, highway, town clerk, dog control, youth, code zoning, supervisor report, court, website, GCO, and banking report.
I'll make it.
Rick?
I'll second the motion.
We do not have the highway.
I did it.
Arlene didn't get it.
Okay. So we will approve it next meeting, no big deal on the 29th. Rick and Craig, make a motion, a second.
Good boy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like just too worried about his Dallas Cowboys almost choking the work against the worst team. No.
It did, though. It did.
So I got that, we did all in favor. We got that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 5, yeah, motion and second to approve a regular board meeting of November 21st.
Make the motion.
Craig?
Second.
Jim Douglas? Any questions?
Nope.
Oh, good, normal. Thank you,
Excellent.
Diane.
Thank you for your speed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need to thank Pam too, she's my second set of eyes.
Okay, thank you. Number 6, community input. Any community input?
I had a couple of questions. I think it probably first one was from Mike, and I've had readers ask about it. The Mannix Road, I haven't been up to John Boswell Road. That paving or something? What is that?
That's just a shim. We lived on that road and Dad's not patching potholes. So save us from this winter doing potholes all winter long. It's just a shim. Dad's Road is scheduled to be fully paved next year. And we're gonna pave half, actually I measured them last week, half of John Boswell and half of Manning. But it's just a shim, so we're not patching the potholes all winter.
It only goes about a quarter mile on Mannix Road, or a half mile.
What's that?
Mannix Road only lasts about a half mile.
That's where the worst spots were for patching.
There were potholes there, or you're trying
There
to?
was a ton of potholes there.
Really? Yeah, this stuff is real rough, so people,
Yeah, it's
I drive
very
it every
thin.
week, and it is pretty rough.
Yeah.
And the other one, any news on the robberies on Washington Street and so on, paying?
Nope, I got a lot of information for them and sent it off to them, and they're still looking into it. Not anything more than what we know so far. And there's more videos, there's more stuff that we know they got and stuff like that, but I put pretty much a lot out there already.
There's a lot of people looking.
There's a lot of people looking. That was shared by 1,300 people, so, and really good leads came in, so.
A halfway decent picture of the guy.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. You got the bulletproof vest on my street, and you got 2 guns on Elm Street, and then you got a wall and other stuff on other streets. Yeah. And a little gray or white car from the video on Elm Street when I went over and looked at the lady's video that called me up.
You say Craig?
Gray or white car, a little one.
Okay.
Yeah, he parked in Jarvis Road when he went down Elm Street. We don't know where he parked when he was on Washington Street. Probably Mannix Road, and walked on,
Yep.
because there's no video of him going between the end of Washington to Payne. There's no video. There's no car came down, so he did his rounds, and then he went down Elm Street and then parked in Jarvis. It's just been our time. They're not smart.
Do you ever get any reports of packages being stolen or anything like
I
that?
have not. I have not, nope. I just have that night, a lot of stuff being stolen. I mean, especially the bulletproof vest and the 2 guns there. the most crucial. And it never was aware that the guns were missing until I posted the pictures of the gun case going down the road, and then that's when someone said, oh boy, that looked like our street, and it was his guns. And unfortunately, he went hunting like the night before, and it was last night of hunting season, that was Sunday, and came back late and went to dinner real fast, and never had a problem before, and that's what happened. Yeah.
It's happening again.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay. Number 7, look to you guys for your discussion on Allen Hill Trails.
Okay.
You got about 15 minutes, we try to
Yeah, I
keep
know,
it.
I'll talk as fast as I can. My name's Chris Barron, I'm the Executive Director for Champlain Area Trails. And we started in about 2007, 2008, because the Champlain Valley had very few hiking trails, and so people would pass through this area, and we really wouldn't get the economic benefits of being available for hikers to come here. So we started in Essex, Westport, Willsboro, and we made about 42 trails, totaling about 67 miles. Several years ago, we went, let's see how active we can become up in Clinton County, because we'd like to make some trails up here. And so we've been working up in Chazy on Ray Johnson's property to make a trail. Thanks to Mike Derrick and Jim Allen, we've had an opportunity to make some trails here in Peru. And one thing I'd like to draw your attention to is we've got hiking trail maps we put out. This is Essex County and this is Clinton County. And Peru is very fortunate because it straddles them both, so Peru gets to be in both. So after we get this trail developed, people can look at both these maps and go, hey great, let's go to Peru and hike on some trails. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike Derrick, and he can talk about what our trails are going to do there.
Thanks.
And also, I'd like to say, last time I was here, we were talking about the property right north of the Little Sable River Trail, and we're really happy to hear that the town's gone ahead and bought that, so that's great news.
All right, thanks, Chris. I'm Mike Derrick. I'm a resident here in the town of Peru, and I'm also the trail steward. And we have our landowner here tonight, Mr. Jim Allen. Jim has agreed with the Champlain Area Trails to put in place a revocable trail easement, which allows us to go in and take the existing trails and clean them up and then build some new trails so that we have an area here in Peru where folks can walk, mountain bike, ski in the winter, snowshoe, any non-motorized use is allowed. So I want to, I'll show you some maps, but just to give you some key background here, this is an important watershed. It's up behind the Peru Rod and Gun Club. It's the headwaters of Caldwell Brook, which was one of the main feeders to the Little Au Sable River. It's also historical. It has the homestead of the Reverend Robert H. York Sr., who was both a preacher and a stonemason. He built the Peru Community Church, and he also built the Hayworth Mason Building. So it's a beautiful site, as well as still there. It's pretty cool. It's just great land in that it is a healthy, mature forest. Jim has done some logging over the years, but using a forester, to just pull out certain trees. So it's really a special piece of ground, and I'm sure some of you have been up there before. So there are two summits on this property. One of them is Huckleberry Hill. On the maps it'll say Mount Etna, and I'll show you a picture in a minute that has a great view to the east all the way across Peru out to the lake and then the Green Mountains in the distance. You can also see all the way down into the Adirondacks and see the Great Range from the top of Huckleberry Hill. It's also a great place to pick blueberries. Okay, it used to be commercially picked for berries back in the 30s and 40s. The other summit is Bennett Hill. Not quite as spectacular in terms of a view, but a really nice rocky outcropping, and that's another area where we're putting in some trails. So it's a mix of old forest roads and some new trails that we're building. We're planning a summer trailhead on what used to be called the Town Line Road. It's the extension beyond the Peru Rod and Gun Club Road, and that old road used to serve the homesteads up in there, to include Robert York's, and there were some fields up in there that were hayed also. So anyhow, I think by the time we're done with this, this will be the longest public trail network in Clinton County. Because, you know, we just don't have that many places to walk in the woods in Clinton County. And I think it's going to be something which is going to kind of set Peru apart in terms of a place where people will go and they'll go to the trails, they'll stop in town, you know, they'll do the things that they do, maybe even spend some money. And also it'll be the kind of terrain where, you know, young people, old people, families can use it because there's some great, smooth, low walking paths, and then climbing Huckleberry Hill is you know, it's up to 1,500 feet, so that's a pretty steep climb. So it's kind of got something for everybody. Chris, can we go to the next slide? Here we go. All right, so this shows you where it is. Here is Rod and Gun Club right here, the blue line of the Adirondack Park, and Jim's land is out here. Okay, next slide. This blows it up a little better. His land is outlined in the heavy black line, and then you can see the adjacent property owners. We've got Lime Timber Company, we've got Terry Signor, Peter Thu, we've got the Rod and Gun Club, and then you see the Allen property right there. This is the summit of Mount Etna, and this is the summit of Bennett Hill. Okay, next slide. There's another look at it. That one's kind of hard to see, but that's what you just saw a second ago. Next, please. All right, this shows you pretty well the trail network. Let's call it the skeleton of the trail network. We have a long out and back on this red route all the way to the top of Huckleberry Hill. That'll be an out and back one way, or just, it will not be a loop trail. And then over here on Bennett Hill, we have kind of a perimeter trail, and then we're building several cutoffs through the middle. And then one of the trails that we built this summer was what we're calling the Reverend York Trail, and it goes right by his old homestead, and it connects the Bennett Hill area to the Huckleberry Hill area. The trailhead that we are at this point planning is going to be on Mr. Allen's property right in there. If you have any questions, please slow me down or stop me. I'm trying to meet Pam's 15-minute guidance here. She's giving me the look. All right, next slide, please.
You haven't seen the look.
All right, I don't know if you can see this. I don't want to see the look.
John
All right.
is.
So this is,
Be proud of that look. Girlfriend.
this is looking south, down towards the high peaks. Next slide. And there's the view out towards Peru. You can see the gravel pit right here. And then this is the Allen Hill Road, and you see some of the Forrence-owned land, which is leased by Adirondack Farms here. That's one of Mr. Allen's fields. And you can see all the way to the lake. That's, Green Mountains on the far side. So it's a great view. It's a better view than from up on the path. Okay, next slide, please. So last Saturday we had a volunteer work day. Normally on these volunteer work days we expect about 5 people to show up. It was 18 degrees out. John was there, and he can verify this. We had 20 people show up. And I'm going, what the heck are we going to do with 20 people? So we broke them into a couple different groups, and we worked on Bennett Hill. And Jim Allen and I had walked that ground a couple days earlier, and so we cut a couple trails up through there to connect the old forest roads to each other. But what I got from that is that there's a lot of public interest in this thing. We advertised it in the Press Republican and in the Peru Gazette and in the Jay Community News. So, next slide. All right, so here's where we're going forward, and this is why I wanted to bring this to you now before these trails are complete. Number one, to kind of get your buy-in on this, and number two, just to keep you informed about something that's going on in the town. We have some work to do in designing and finishing building the trails. We've got to figure out what to do with some water crossings. Most of them will be like stepping stone kind of things, and we'll see how that works out when the spring floods come in. We've got to put up signage. The trails are not signed right now, but we will have them fully marked so people do not get lost. At some point we'll put up an information kiosk that tells people about what the land is, what the history of the land is. It'll have a big map with the trail network, and tell people where are good places to walk. And then we need to improve the trailhead. It's a little rough right now, and it needs to be cleared out and straightened out so that vehicles can park there. One of the challenges that we're going to face, I know right now, and I've talked to some of you about this already, is determining, I talked to Mike about it on the phone the other day, determining the status of that access road. So that's the road beyond the Rod and Gun Club. It used to be a town road. It was called the Town Line Road, is what I have heard, what Jim Allen has told me. And it served the people who lived up in that area and who had farms up in that area. And then at some point in time it was abandoned because nobody else lived up there. So we've got to figure out what to do with that road. It does need a little work for it to be so that people who do not have a four-wheel drive can drive on that. And then in the winter, that piece of the road in the winter turns into Snowmobile Route 8 down to Fern Lake. So in the winter we will look to see if we can set up a trailhead for winter use there at the end of the Rod and Gun Club Road, so people can park their vehicles and then snowshoe or ski back in. We need to talk to adjacent landowners and inform them of what's going on in there. And then we need to get the word out on the Allen Hill trails and just kind of go to some of the agencies, state agencies, county agencies. That's why we're here talking to you tonight. I think it'd be a great place for the schools. There's a lot of interesting, things that not only like science classes, but even history classes could go up in there and talk about how people use the land and that kind of thing. And then we'll develop public support. I'm going to keep giving information briefs like this. I'll probably go down to the town of Sable and do the same thing with them, because this land is on the border of the town of Peru, and on the other side of the line is the town of Sable. And so we'll get some local press coverage, and then we'll continue with our volunteer work days in the spring when the weather clears up. So that's where we're at. Anybody got any questions or comments?
I thought it was beautiful up there the other day. I was really impressed. I thought I left early though. I didn't stay. I thought I was going to get lost on the way down, but I made it.
Well, we're glad you made it out. So, Jim, do you want to add anything?
I don't think so. No, I guess not.
Okay.
Mike, I have a question. You said that it's trail quarter 8 for
I think
snowmobile
it's
traffic?
Snowmobile Route 8, yeah.
Okay, so is there a concern with your group that snowmobile traffic will utilize some of the, you already said it was non-motorized. Is there a concern that
No, there's a gate. I mean,
it's gonna, okay,
Mr. Allen's property is well gated off.
Okay,
The
all right.
Snowmobile Route 8 goes to the south of it.
okay.
But,
So it's not through his property?
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all. Just goes adjacent to it.
Okay,
You said that's a revocable land trust?
Easement, trail easement, yeah.
Is there a designated time before it can be reverted back? Is my understanding revocable?
Yeah, so it's 60 days on either party's part. So landowner or Champlain Area Trails, for whatever reason, can notify the other party, and then 60 days later the agreement will be revoked.
How do you handle the liability end of things?
I'm going to let Chris talk about that. There is a way, New York state law, I'm not sure what it is.
Well, it must be.
Yeah, first of all, we cover landowners with our insurance policy, and also what you asked is a really important question, because New York State has a really strong law about liability and landowners. landowners. It's called the General Obligations Law. And it basically says that a landowner owes no responsibility to ensuring that his property is safe for people coming onto it, nor is that person liable if anybody gets hurt on their property. And the only two ways that you are liable is if you charge people to come onto your property, or if you intentionally create a hazard and don't warn people. So it doesn't. So the law is a really strong protection for landowners for all sorts of uses. I guess the one it doesn't cover is swimming, so that's why everybody has to gate off all these swimming areas. But the law does protect people. It doesn't mean that they can't get sued, but the chances of the person winning in a lawsuit are very slim.
Yeah, I guess the only difference here in this case is you're more or less inviting people on, and then you become sort of like a third entity.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you go from Mr. Allen's property up the road toward Mount Etna, follow that to the end, that will bring you out to the road that cuts into Lime Timber property, correct?
Yes, it is.
And then you hit that Lime Timber property, that will bring you out to the Mud Pond Road. And you walk up the Mud Pond Road and it takes you back up to the top of Terry Mountain. Why wouldn't you put that on your map?
Well, we could, but those aren't our trails, so we're kind of
They're
just
state-
focusing.
They're state trails.
They are
And
state.
you guys would have access to them.
We would have access to them. Also, Lime Timber Company signed an easement with the
Yeah.
state of New York for recreation.
Recreational purposes. yeah.
And so, let's go back a couple slides here. So if you see this parcel here, this huge parcel which goes all the way back through the mountains almost to Swastika,
That's not Lime Timber.
it's not, is it
No,
Boron?
that's Black Horse. That's the Bohan property.
Bohan,
Yeah.
okay, all right, we're mistaken then.
Yeah.
This is Lime Timber here,
Yes,
okay, to the north,
yeah.
all right.
That one's for sale.
I've seen the listing in Timberland Realty, yeah.
Yeah, 1.9 million.
Yeah. So if anybody has 1.9 million.
Is that the 2,000 acre parcel? It's 3,200 acres.
Wow, okay. All right, so we'll
But
change
that
that.
takes you all the way from basically Jim's property, all the way to Green Hill, almost to Black Brook. It's 7 miles long.
Yeah. So, we'll see what the outcome here
You
is.
see,
This
you see
piece of
that little
property is
piece
for
of
sale.
property just off that blue line?
Here.
Don't come down, right, right there?
Yeah,
That's mine.
that's yours. You want to be on the map?
No.
Okay.
There's your parking spot.
I'm off the map to
Chris?
the right.
I might say something is that's interesting information about that property because I did use the county records to get the landowners and they must be mistaken because they did indicate that Lime was the owner of that, so, or I read wrong. But anyway, that's a large parcel because I've heard it's for
Lime,
sale.
wherever Mud Pond Road is on that map,
Right here, in black.
okay. Lime owns all the way in, well, from the Mud Pond Road, all the way into the Black Horse property, which is Bohan. The guy's a chiropractor from Michigan, I believe.
Yeah.
But coming in, it was where the old trooper camp used to be, is all on Lime Timber. It was IP at one time.
Right. Okay,
So
well, good, that's good information.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I would say is on our Clinton County map, Mud Pond Trail is on there as a trail, so
Mhm.
anyway, it's just not on this because I didn't put two and two together.
Yeah. All right, anybody else? Well, listen, thank you very much for your time. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. And I'd also be happy to take anybody up there if you'd like to see the trails, just go for a walk. If you want to come up and help us clear them too, that would also be welcome.
I like to see
Like
that
that.
property with the little pink around it.
Which one?
The one Ricky Barber owns.
All right, well, thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll leave some maps over here too, so you can
I heard there's some good beer over that way.
In our household, that moves all.
See you, John.
for
Okay.
Buck Crack Mountain.
Thanks very much, Ben.
Look at our
Thanks,
house,
Mike.
it's exactly what it is.
Thanks very much, see you.
Take care.
Yeah.
We got
Okay.
Have some company over there, Rick?
Moving along, number 8, 2023 tax season hours. Diane has together here for us to look at. So she's gonna post. And you wanna go over them? Real quick.
Simple, easy things last year, for the Saturday, the last Saturday. I'll make sure that they're on the website, I will make sure they're on the Gazette, they'll be posted here, they'll be at the front door, the back door, and we're golden.
The only thing I asked from Jim or anybody, on January 9th is the only afternoon I cannot be here on this calendar. Can you be here January 9th with Diane? For 5 to 6.
5 to 6.
Just as long as.
I just don't like that, I don't want to be.
Yep, and that's the only night, January 9th. Other than that? Yep. Exactly.
We're good, it will all be perfect.
Good. So that will get posted. Thank you, Diane.
Coverage too, guys.
Do
Awesome
people here
tax
on Saturdays and we get people
We
after
do
hours.
get, we do have people
Yeah,
on
we still do.
Saturdays, it's fun.
Okay, so number 9, a regular town board meeting on the 29th. We asked if everyone could be available for an earlier meeting on the 29th to get done everything that comes in by the end of the year. Everyone said that whoever could be here, we have at least 3, if not, whoever can get here. We are gonna, I need a motion in a second to change it to 10 a.m. the 29th.
I'll make the motion and change the 29th meeting to 10 a.m.
Second.
Second by Jim Douglas. All in favor? Aye. And basically that meeting is any kind of bills that come in, any kind of things that have to be done last minute, that is the meeting that we get them done. And it's usually a brief, quick meeting just to get the last minute bills paid on the 29th.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Got it.
Okay. That being said, we got a pay app, number 10. It's just, we got actually 2 of them back to back. And these are already approved by everyone, all the departments are approved, everything before it gets to us. Basically, it's just, so I need a motion and a second for pay app number 6 for Telegraph Culvert project.
Motion.
Second.
Craig made the motion, second by Rick. The amount is for,
14,975.50.
Yep, $214,975.50. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 11 goes right into the same thing. It's a Wright Brothers pay app number 7, the final for Telegraph Culvert project. It has a $2,000 retainer on it. The amount is $76,569.41.
I'll make the motion to pay Act 7.
Craig?
I'll second.
By Mel. All in favor?
Aye.
Can you repeat that number again, please?
There's a $2,000 retainer, but this bill is $76,569.41.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mike, you have anything on either one of these? I mean, they're just, you have any questions, anything?
No, we held a retainage, I believe 2,000, that's what we come up with.
Yeah.
Just for soil work if it doesn't take or stuff, typical.
Luck also sent a.
For the $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in your folder right behind the
We'll
gas.
wait to catch grass down there.
Four-wheeler's gonna have a car on.
Well, the 4-wheeler is in the big trucks. I mean, it was the day after it happened, I got 2 phone calls, Mike went down and it was a mess already. Yeah. And thank you, Mike, for going right down there when I got the calls from Blackford. Okay, so that takes care of that. Number 12. Want discussion on this, Mike, first? Awarding the fencing bid for highway self-storage area. You want discussion on it before we go?
Yeah, I brought this up a while back about, because we're using straight salt, which is real expensive. If you don't, probably doesn't sound like a lot, but Fire Rock is $104 a ton. I just ordered 100. I got 200 ton of regular salt coming at $80 or $92 or 80 cents. Was a ton. Again, it doesn't sound a lot, but 5 gallon pail is 40 pounds of salt. So, you know, you take 10 pails, there's $400. It doesn't take long. So I mentioned to get some prices. Tried to get 3. The third one, they lay everybody off. But I know what's going to happen if we don't lock that up. It goes out. They bring machines in, and it moves. So.
Luckily Murphy's closed.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that. I mean, it was important.
So this is gonna be a fence across the front of the building?
Yeah, it'll come from the end of the wall that comes out.
Yeah.
It'll tie into the ramp. And then there'll be a short 4-foot rope just on the sides of the ramp, not in the end, because we gotta be able to get in and out of the truck, the load. I mean,
So it's to secure the salt.
yeah, if they wanna get in, they can, but they're gonna earn it. So, and it would have 2 15-foot swinging gates, because we gotta be out of back tractor trailer and into dump.
Plenty of work for your trucks.
But that, it's up to you if you wanna do it or not.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a good idea.
I mean, I'll make a motion to award the fencing bill to the highway salt storage area.
So that's the motion, and then we're gonna have a resolution, because we got the bids.
Oh, okay.
So, that's a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Jim, second. Resolution, Diane. Yeah, and we have the quotes.
A resolution to purchase fencing to enclose salt storage area by the Town of Peru Highway Department. Whereas the Town of Peru Town Board has found a need to purchase chain link fencing for the highway to more efficiently and to prevent theft of stored salt. The Town Highway Department received bids and C&E Fencing LLC was the lowest responsible bid received. Whereas the lowest bid received was $7,883 to furnish and install fencing as per specifications, and whereas the town board and the highway department superintendent have determined that the new fencing of the salt storage area would provide the highway department to more efficiently protect the salt from theft, and to award the bid to C&E Fencing LLC, and now be resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to sign all paperwork to execute this purchase as soon as possible. And Mr. Barber?
Yes.
And Mr. Burrell?
Yes, yes.
And Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
And Mr. Earl?
Yes.
And Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mike, when are they gonna start then?
I called them, waiting for an answer back yet, some jobs, so
Okay.
I'm hoping to
They
do it this
can
time of
do
year.
it,
That was,
they can do it in the frost?
they should be able to, because a lot of it's gonna melt to the concrete. It's just the few posts that go across the parking lot, that's gonna be the.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay, so moving along to the next. Anything else for Mike on that, or we're good?
No.
Okay. Number 13 is, number 13.
Brad, Rushford.
Yeah, I see number 12 here.
Oh, I misnumbered.
That's okay.
There's 2 12s.
Yeah, I looked at it. Approving appointment of Brad Rushford to. That one didn't go.
No.
No, you read the resolution for. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I so this one is appointing for Youth Committee Brad Rushford to the Youth Commission. I need a motion and a second for the resolution.
I make the motion. I got to meet Brad during the ski sign up, you guys. Seems like a very nice gentleman, really enthusiastic. I think he'll fit right in.
Older, younger?
Younger than me.
He's probably in his upper 30s.
Younger than Jim.
Yeah. They just had another baby
Kids?
over the weekend.
That's right, that's right, some kids in the program, happy
I think so, yes.
So Craig made the motion.
Second.
Rick, I give to this time.
Right.
Resolution, Diane.
A resolution approving the appointment of Brad Rushford to the Town of Peru Youth Commission, whereas the Peru Youth Commission has recommended that Brad Rushford be appointed to the Peru Youth Commission as of this date. Therefore, be it resolved that Peru Town Board agrees with the recommendation of the Peru Youth Commission and appoints Brad Rushford, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. And Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Allen? And Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
He didn't spit on me or call me names,
Go
so.
ahead, you're good.
Yeah. No, yeah, yes. So number 14 is what we had our public hearing for earlier. I need a motion in the second for resolution, and Bob, if you want to say anything real quick, brief, we can go from there.
I think I said it all.
Okay.
I make the motion, but I have a question. We don't have to rescind the law if we're making a new law, do we?
They ask that you repeal the local law number 2 of 1986, because if, for instance, if I have to enforce, you're enforcing the current law, which is local law number 3 of 2022, which is,
It sort of wipes it away.
yeah,
Isn't that how it works,
yeah,
Bob?
state, yeah,
It's
state,
sort of like,
yeah.
So I have to
Voice
ask
it.
Matt about that. I mean, do we need another resolution to rescind it?
no, because it voids it.
That's what I did.
Yeah, it
That's why
voids,
we-
it voids from 90, it's like, there was a couple, for the dogs, I remember. Because when I was looking through the local law books to update it,
Licensing?
and, just in general, I mean, it's like 8 pages long. And it just, it voids it out.
I
Am
will,
correct, Bob?
I'm sorry, no, I will add, I did forward this to Matt, and he did look at it, and he gave the thumbs up, he said, looks great.
Okay.
And should-
I believe it just voids it out.
Yeah.
This is now our
This is
new
the new
law.
law.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
It replaces
It
the
repeats
Right.
it, so the other
Plus
one is,
the new
it's
changes.
voided.
It's like putting the speed limit up.
Yeah,
Yep.
New law.
yeah.
Second.
So Craig made a motion, second by Rick, resolution, Diane.
Where's my maps? A local law providing for administration and enforcement of the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code and the State Energy Conservation Code in the town of Peru. Passing of local law number 3 of 2022, providing for administration and enforcement of the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code and the State Energy Conservation Code in the town of Peru, whereas a public hearing having been held on a proposed local law on December 12, 2022, and whereas the board has before it proposed local law number 3 of 22, now be it resolved that local law number 3 of 2022, Uniform Fire Prevention Building and Energy Conservation Code is hereby adopted. Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
And Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Thank you. Where's my Matthew tonight?
Number 15.
Spoiled me.
Number 15, Telegraph Culvert project update.
Okay, this is gonna be for the next dip from Telegraph. I got a call, went down, looked at it, those are completely gone. I mean, when I say gone, you go down in the water, and you're looking at the water, there's no bottom. So I talked to Carl from the county. We thought we could still use for Bridge New York, the same engineering firm, but it wasn't sure, so I called CNS Engineer. They did call me back. We definitely can refile it. I took a bunch of pictures, Pam sent them down to him. He said, this, great pictures, it's a good candidate for Hiley to get approved, hopefully this coming year. My next question, is this road safe to be open, or should it be restricted to lower weight limits? You know, like just pick up some cars and no trucks, heavy farm equipment. I have not got an answer back, that's the last thing I want is a bus to drop you. It's doing the same thing. The culvert did at Mr. Bags, with the bottoms being gone, the dirt's working its way from the bottom, eating its way up to the asphalt, so you can't see. Obviously, you can't see what's going on underneath, but they are by far even worse shape than the ones by Mr. Bags. The one to the south is in a little bit better shape, it's not good. The head wall is got a bunch of cracks on it. And unfortunately, when they put that, it's narrow. You got the head wall with the inlet, you got the guardrails right there, and about that far off is the edge of the road. You walk on the edge of that road, it's like walking on a sponge. You can feel it. It just, and when I was there taking pictures, you watch the cars come over, you can see the bump. So the shoulder is washing it out. So I wait for an answer. I'm hoping we can maybe just reduce the weight limit, but you know, I hate to shut it because we're gonna have that mess with the bridge down on the other end of us. That's now, and they're gonna shut. So it's.
What do you do about plowing? Are you concerned with your trucks?
Well, I'm a little nervous. That's why I'm waiting for the engineer. Of course, the engineers they hate to make because it's an assumption that, you know,
I don't want
it's
to
gonna
lose a
stay
school bus,
here.
but I don't want to lose one of my highway trucks either.
And obviously, that's not even the halfway point of that run, because he starts in Telegraph, so the truck is pretty, you know, he just got Parsons in a little short section of Sullivan that goes
Right.
towards Pat's house.
So he's carrying a lot of
So
weight there.
he's, you know, he's got a lot of weight. We're using straight salt, so we're not loaded like we were. But it is a concern, so I was hoping to hear back today, but I haven't heard, so I'll give him a call tomorrow. Hopefully we're not plowing tomorrow.
This weekend, bud.
Because this weekend doesn't sound good. So,
This week.
but that's on that one, and I'm gonna jump right to the next one on Cook Road. I had met with Luck, and that one was gone too. We bought culverts, and I'm gonna use Luck just for, they were one of the ones I could get. Do a county contract, put the culverts in with a head wall and flooring. Well, it's an unnamed tributary that goes to Silver Stream, which crosses under Alliance Road, which means it's national wetlands, which brings in the Army Corps of Engineers. So what should have been a $10,000 job is probably gonna be 50 before we're all said and done. So I got engineer inspections, they came out, we're gonna do some surveying. But because the stream is, what we had was 2 3-footers, which I was gonna put back. But because Army Corps, you've gotta go 1.25 times the width of the high bank. So that's gonna make a structure that is 12 foot wide, 12 and a half. I told Mark, because there's only one house past it in the barn, the cheapest way we can, so we're hoping we can do a aluminum arch, but it's still, we gotta have board footings and the locks in place. But it is a lot cheaper than a 3-sided box, so we're hoping that we can do that. But it's what should have been a $10,000 job, it's not gonna be. I did talk to the Army Corps, and I don't know if it's good news or not, but John Connell is retired. But I did send an email, he had to send an email off to the new guy taking his spot. And that was 3 days ago, and I haven't got even a response back, so.
There's an equal chance it could be worse, it could be better.
Yeah, so it's frustrating, it's just,
New broom sweeps clean.
and it's an unnamed tributary, it's just, but it goes to Silver Stream, which is a trout stream, so it's.
So what it is, and I talked to Glenn Cutter down in the county about this, because Mike and I, he confirmed with me and wanted to make sure that there was, so the Fish and Wildlife Service helped coordinate or list these NWI, which is, it's a National Wetlands Inventory, and then the Army Corps just piggybacks on what they've already determined, what Fish and Wildlife determined, so, ouch.
Amazing.
Yep.
So that's where we are in that.
You have any good news?
No, I got more.
Stay on
I'll
that,
skip.
Mike, stay on that about that one road, because boy, now that we know it, if something goes.
Yeah, it's
School
just,
bus.
that's why I want to answer.
Sooner the better.
You know, I think cars and trucks, my gut feeling, it's fine.
Any farm equipment go across that?
You know, you got Remelards and
But,
And they're a lot.
out around that, got fields on the other side.
so, I mean,
This time of year, when they're done spreading, I think, you know, it won't be bad, but come spring,
Yeah.
Especially on the south.
They're never done spreading.
you know what I mean?
No.
That's what I'm worried about with, it takes some material underneath the blacktop where we can't see, and somebody goes over it and it drops. I mean, that's why I lived in Mr. Bags, it was down 7 feet there in one spot. Just it opened up.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much for staying up on that.
Okay. Sure, we come back to you for more good news.
Yeah.
Courtney, sewer Elm
That
Street project.
project's pretty well done, so I think we can remove this from the, other than pay apps.
Yeah.
I think we can remove this from the.
The discussion now. Yeah, that's good news, Mike.
No, he's got that.
Well, I already know about it, but he told us earlier, so.
But it affects me.
Yeah. Other business, let's get to some better news before you two, Rick,
I'm good.
Jim,
I'm good.
Diane.
All is good in my world. Our newly elected judge attended taking the bench school last week. We have all the paperwork filed, robes are filed, nameplates are filed, everything's done. He's ready to go. He gets fingerprinted, I believe he said on the 14th. He's good to go. Treasurer's office isn't going to be ready for the tax roll till the end of the month. Surprise, surprise, but that's okay. And my world's good in my little cocoon.
Good, thank you.
Good one.
Mel,
All set.
Craig.
I don't know, I thought Mel was gonna say something about the beautiful pictures down in the building. I thought I saw some new ones. But,
Now I got one more to go.
yeah, it looks really
Sure,
awesome.
anyway.
Really awesome. And the tractor parade, Mel, that you helped produce was phenomenal.
Was
It was
good.
really cool.
It's amazing how much work these guys have put into that.
Grimlar's got theirs parked up in the hill and they're using it
Yeah.
for their all year till the
He says,
Christmas.
His grandmother loved to have that chopper sitting in the front yard.
Yeah, it's still sitting there. I went by today, the lights are on it.
No, that was really nice. It was cold, but it was nice.
Yeah,
It was
pretty
cold.
nice.
It was, I
Hey, boys,
keep hands in my camera.
Should've came to our corner. I brought my patio heater up to the corner all
Yeah.
We were all standing
I was
under.
the only one in my corner over there because I had family members over and
We
there's two
saw
young
that
men.
patio heater.
We went out 3 times.
Yeah.
Till it was finally coming on hold.
No, very nice.
I sent
I
the
did-
dog down to your place.
I did forget one thing. Chaka got a call last night. Dog got to spend the night at Elmore's and it all came together.
Did the guy come by today?
Yeah, about 20 after 3.
Okay.
So it came all together and I meant to text you to let you know, but it all came together, Chaka. So good job, bud.
Craig, anything else?
No, that's it.
No? No. Chaka.
No. Things like that. There's a loose pig, that'll help me figure that out.
Somebody got free hand dinner, hopefully.
A loose pig?
Yeah.
Dolphin.
So you take care of pigs and cats now too,
It
huh?
looks like a dog, man. It looks like a dog. It's got a collar.
The cats are all gone.
Chelsea at the SPCA said she might have room for cats, you had asked.
Okay, yes, yeah, and I wanna thank you for the response on that kind of stuff and, you know, stuff outside your box of your job. I wanna thank you for that and always getting right back to people. It's important and it's really great because it's nice when I can say, yes, call, and like Bob or Mike or Courtney, same thing with all our guys here. It's a great response from everybody, I mean, the whole town. It's really nice to have a response like that, even if it has nothing to do with, you know, dog control. Thank you for that. But yeah, all the cats are gone out of there, and they have a little fun going that they're trying to do on a cat feral thing.
Okay.
Yeah, cage. But that'd be awesome if they have room for a couple because I think there was 9. We took care of 1. Someone took 1 kitten, right? And then we have the other ones.
No.
Yeah, thank you.
She said she could handle about 8. Somebody called her recently with 4 or 5.
Okay, so I have touched base with that. Thank you. Bob?
Just one thing, John, if I could ask you to post something on your Gazette to advertise people to volunteer for both the planning board and zoning board. So Wednesday we have a big meeting. You can look at the agenda over there for the planning board. We have like 10 items. And you know, this is an all volunteer board, so sometimes the availability is such that, and we're kind of in that position maybe for Wednesday. Christine was reaching out to those members to say, because we've already had a couple of them call off, to say they're going to be out of town, things are happening. So we're making sure that we have at least 4 members, and sometimes it's a chore. So even if you can, just post something and ask people and they can contact us here at the codes office, but people, even if, we have a full board for the planning board, but someone, if they serve as an alternate, would likely be involved in the meeting each month, because someone typically is off, you know, things come up, you know, so. if you can,
Okay, alternates. How many alternates can you have, Bob?
What's that?
How many
Like 2 for each board, if possible. Yeah. So right now we have a full complement, we have 7 members on the planning board and 5 members on the zoning board, but certainly, you know, it seems like we're missing someone each month, so an alternates can serve.
Do you have any alternates?
No, that presently we don't,
Okay.
so it's difficult, you know, it's.
Also too, in support of Chaka, please tell people to license their dogs. That's why this dog ended up spending the night at Elmore's. Bottom line, because they don't license their dogs, right, Chaka? They don't, that's why. They don't get rabies shots and they don't license their dogs.
But they do. Once it's caught.
Oh, yeah, once it's got, they do.
You know then about planning and zoning?
I actually want to hear about the pig.
Yeah, I mean.
I want to hear about the pig.
Oh, the pig, that was
It would
hysterical.
be pretty disheartening if Wednesday we get to that meeting and we
Yeah.
have all these items on there and people, and we don't have a full complement of the board, it's like, well, you know. And I'm the only face generally that these people see, and it's like, oh, sorry, you know.
Are you gonna have a quorum?
Well, we're trying, yeah. We already have 3 that say, 3 that, 1 is, well, possibly can because they're out of town, but they may be able to do the Zoom. And it's just a, you know,
It's a challenge.
it is a challenge, it's one,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But,
Well, there's no reason any of them anymore can't do Zoom.
It's a challenge.
well, for instance.
You can do that anywhere.
Yeah, I understand.
I Zoom my doctor, right?
Richard Williams had back surgery today. So he's pretty much gonna be, I mean, serious back surgery. So I think,
Really.
you know,
And he's a sweetheart.
yeah, and he's a chairman. So Ryan Davies is the vice chairman. Ryan came in today to sit down with me for about a half an hour to go through the applications to make sure that we're, you know, copacetic, things are gonna, you know.
Yeah, you do have a good meeting Wednesday night. May have to bring you dinner.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, well, thanks.
Good luck.
Mike?
Some more bad news? I know Mel texted me last night, just wanted to know if we pre-treated the roads. So, Brownie, and we did not. And the reason was, when the unit came, they didn't send the tailgate locking pins. So I called, suppose they sent it, we only got 1. I called them again, we just got the second one last week, we went to put them on so we could use it. And they wouldn't mount, you could tell without before you drill the hole, so it was back and forth with the dealership. Of course, we're talking North Dakota. So they said, well, come to find out, he says, you got a motor? I said, yeah, ours got a motor. He said, what side is it on? If you're standing behind it, it's on the right. He said, there's a problem. He said, if you got the tailgate locking pins, the motor needs to be on the left. So then the R&D team wanted to know if we could, you know, move everything, and I said, wait a minute, we're talking $30,000 piece of equipment, drilling holes, replumbing, and then plumbing's not gonna work. I said, no, we're not gonna do that, and I know the lawyer's not gonna want the liability, so I reached out again tonight before I called, and he said customer service supposed to get a hold of me. They hadn't, so I sent him an email back or a text that, you know, just send the right machine set up right, and we'll just load the other one on and drive off, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're gonna miss this storm, and we could be retreated, because Courtney got the brine maker, his guys, and thanks for doing it, got all the plumbing and everything, it's active, it's ready to make brine, but we need a machine to do it with, to spread it, so.
Yeah, because the roads were really slushy and crappy this morning still.
Well, they're gonna be, because you're using salt, so
Exactly.
it's straight salt, and it's not only, you gotta work on
That's really bad.
your own guys' mentality with this, you gotta work in the public, because that's what's gonna happen, it's gonna get mealy, and then when we make another round, and take some more off, but there was no pre-treat to stop it from finding. We got it, but I now wait for salt, because on the trucking, so
Jeez.
we're at our limit in salt, you know, we use up what we had last year, and we still got trucks with salt on it, and they're not gonna dump it because they like the salt, so.
You've got a fair amount of sand in there.
Yeah, I ended up, I did a round with sand. I thought we were out, but they were coordinating their trucks, they just weren't.
They're trying to get one more.
Yeah, no, blame them, because I would've did the same thing, but you beat me to it. So, but it does work, but it's, you know, they all talk about when they come back, and everybody's run is a little different. The Beasley will run, top of the batten, the higher elevation, it's gonna take a little work. But that, you know, we'll end up using some treated salt. But Smart Hill is bare, so that's good.
Yeah, that really cleared up by afternoon. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
Definitely
but it
nice
was
job.
cool and you had that wind, so it took a little bit. And Darryl came in 3 times, so he's, you know, just like it was, he fit
Yep.
perfect, so.
Nice.
Of
Very
course,
good.
he come back for a trip, he said, I got a mailbox.
Oh, Darryl said that?
Yeah.
Oh, bless his heart.
What route's your new guy on?
Darryl,
The new guy.
the new guy is it right now, he's still learning, he has his road test for the standard.
Yeah.
On the 20th. He's gonna end up, the one I was, or I am, Lapid's Mills. He's gonna end up in that, more than likely, and then I'll probably jump to the village. I did the village this morning.
Thanks, Mike. Anything else?
Teamwork, you're doing
Yeah.
a great job, Mike.
Anything else, Mike?
Tough job.
No, Gordon gave you the other end.
Oh, I know. Gordon, you might as well know your bad news and then good news, hopefully.
No, yeah, I mean, the only thing I got is, we got a water break on Elm Street, unfortunately, on the new road, that we're gonna have to take a section off. I got Lake Placid, New York Rural Water, Morris Coolidge wasn't in town, so Lake Placid's nice enough, they're gonna come out tomorrow with their correlation equipment, narrow it down, so hopefully we can keep it as small of an area as possible.
Nice.
Anything we can do?
Sure, it won't be the first one, especially with plowing season here, the vibration of the road, that road took an abuse this summer.
Anything else?
Nope.
Pam?
I emailed Larry Cromie today, he should have the appraisal to us before the end of the week, he said hopefully, so that'll,
Be done.
then that'll be sent to Dasney's real estate department and hopefully get reimbursed, so.
Oh, the other thing too, Pam, we have the new phones.
Oh, yeah.
We have the new phones. And everybody's going through the trials and tribulations of transfers and.
There's a lot to them.
But
I can tell you, I like the voicemail when I get a
Craig's
message, I get the voicemail on my email. So,
And actually,
I like that.
I actually asked Denise.
because I could be not here on the weekend, I could be, you know, that's nice, it goes right to your voicemail.
Yeah, it
Goes
does.
right to your email.
And I asked Denise for, I forgot to mention, I asked Denise for Trent and Greg's emails, who are the owners, I forgot to tell you, the owners of Layer 8, or who formed Layer 8 for better words, and because they've been wonderful to our town. And so, in our graciousness that we are, and I feel that we are, I will compose an email and have Pam double check it before I send it out, to just thank them for all the support and you know, blah, blah, blah. Here we thought this phone system was gonna be $10,000 and it was $800. I mean, that's why we all dragged our feet on it, and I admit that. I thought it was gonna cost thousands and thousands of dollars. But I do have their emails, we will get an email out, right? I forgot to tell you I'd asked for that.
Okay.
So, because I just think it's nice to praise people and be positive. So, I think it's very important.
Anything else? Anyone else? Good. Okay, so public comments on agenda items only. Anyone?
All eyes are on you, John.
No, I got nothing.
Not my eyes.
need
But
a
everybody
motion-
else's eyes.
I need a motion and a second.
I'm gonna write that.
I need a, Pam's eyes.
And then she'll take it off.
Yeah. I need a motion and a second to, for the bills.
Make the motion.
Craig made the motion. I'll second. Now, second, resolution, Diane?
Resolution authorizing the post audit payment of certain claims, bills, and invoices to the town, whereas the town board has reviewed and audited the following claims, bills, and invoices for services rendered and goods provided to the town in December 2022, and the town approved vouchers in 2022, 2022001470 through and including 2022001574, abstract dated December 7th, 2022, for the dollar amount totaling $1,261,923, and that $406,732.90 was wired, credit cards, and prepaid, and $801,169.33 is remaining to be paid. And whereas the town board finds said claims, bills, and invoices to be acceptable in form and reasonable in amount, and now therefore it be resolved that payment of the aforementioned claims, bills, and invoices is approved, and the supervisor being hereby is authorized to make such payment, and be the further resolved that this resolution should take effect immediately. Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Owen?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
And Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay, we are gonna need executive session really brief with Mike. So I need a motion and a second for executive session.
Second it.
Rick made a motion, second with Craig. It's possible litigation. There will be no decision coming out tonight because Matt's not here, but we'd just like to talk about a possible litigation.
Very good.
All in favor?
Aye.